All right, I have returned and get into my comfy position. And what are we doing? I was thinking I want to figure something out that I was ignoring for a bit. So, oh, I see. I've turned this mesh instance to be invisible, but I also want to figure out how do we. Oh, this doesn't have material. Let's add a material. Cool. How do we make it colorful? You would think that would be straightforward. We have light in the world as well, I believe. But that's fine. I don't even see a place to set color on the material. It's vertex color. I mean, maybe it's not because it's not in the material. It's the mesh. Does the mesh have color? Is this a edit? Size, orientation. Center offset. All material settings. Mesh. I mean, I guess I get it's just like placeholder art, right? I'm just putting in a mesh to have a thing there, but I would like to have it have a different color. You know, it's the small things, right? Let's see. Godot, plain mesh, set, texture. Well, here's the information about plain mesh. It's a primitive mesh inherited by quad mesh. You can set the material. A shader material. Maybe I'm just doing the wrong thing. So if we just convert to shader material. Right, it just converted this into a shader. Shader parameters. Hey, all right, we have things. Oops. There we go. We have a visual thing that distinguishes it. That's great. That's all I really wanted. Why is that so hard? Anyway. Go away. All right. So, just so that I can find where the spawn spot is, I think the other thing I want to do is, so if we go to our navigation obstacle 3D2, visibility, transform, So I guess one possibility, like it shouldn't be the case that I need to enable, that I need to rebake the navigation region. I'm gonna do it anyway. Debugger. No, that's not like spawning more messages there, is it? Wait for a current big. Okay. Did it bake? I guess it did. Navigation mesh. Lots of things in there. Ground. Okay. Yeah, but so anyway, so I don't have this enabled. If enabled and parsed in a navigation mesh baking process, the obstacle will discard source geometry inside of its vertices and height to find shape, right? So this would be like what we did with the other one, which is why you're seeing all these you know, all the stuff going on in the navigation region, is because we have there we go. We have this carve out here from this navigation obstacle that does affect the navigation mesh. And so when we baked the navigation region, it excluded this section and it's not navigable. So like static exclusion of pathing. Versus what I'm trying to do now and have been for, I don't know, 40 plus minutes of making it so that the enemies that we spawn will avoid obstacles that have this avoidance enabled turned on. Now, we are saying use 3D avoidance. What does that actually do? If true, obstacle affects 3D avoidance using agent's obstacle radius. If false, the obstacle affects 2D avoidance using agents with both obstacle vertices as well as obstacle radius. So if this is true, then it doesn't use the vertices. Cool. So when we're in obstacle avoidance, which is our custom thing, we want to set 3D to be false. Okay. So basically what we have now is we have two things that should cause our agent to not walk straight to the target. Which is this thing. Oh, also this is how you set the color. You set the albedo. Set the albedo. Yeah, cool. Great. Awesome. I realized that once I had seen this and we had set this shader parameter. Yeah. Anyway. Well. Obvious in retrospect. I just didn't know where to look. And there were too many options. All right, so we're spawning in. Okay, let's do this because this is gonna be impossible to see, like keep track of what's going on if I don't do this. So let us add another add child node. We want to add a mesh instance 3D. Create. Great. And then we want to make a, oh, I don't know, like a plane mesh, point mesh. What is an immediate mesh? ray mesh. So if we create a well, this is not going to be helpful. Can we mesh optimize for creating geometry manually? Cool. How? Not like that. Interesting. Just looking at different things, I guess, is what I'm doing right now. Placeholder mesh. Box mesh, capsule mesh, cylinder, plane, quad mesh. Not too helpful. Prism mesh. Clear it. Mesh optimized for creating geometry manually. What does it mean? What does this do? Create a static outline mesh. The outline mesh will have its normals flipped automatically. What does this do? Yeah, of course not. Okay, if I go back to a plane mesh, and do like 100 by 100. I guess the thing I could do is I could just change the navigation obstacle, like this thing. So first of all, let's make this visible. We're going to material. We haven't saved out any materials. We'll just make another standard material. And we get some nice Z fighting going on there. We'll give it a yellowish color just to distinguish it. We'll pop it off the ground a little bit so that we don't have Z fighting. And then we'll grab this and we're just going to change the obstacle to match our... let's look top down. There we go. If you can't beat them, join them. No, I don't want to delete the whole thing. All right, so roughly like that. Sure. And so now we can play this. And when we see that the enemy walks into this area, we know that we failed. Yeah. I guess a thing I could do is I can make sure that and that's fine. Let's just lower this plane a little bit by moving the whole navigation region. I don't want to do that. Let's grab ground. Lower the ground a little bit. There we go. All right. So I guess a thing we could do is this have a height. Just have a height. Let's just make this way taller and lower it. And then raise this. Okay. And the downside of my current audio setup is that all my desktop audio goes to the stream. So you're gonna hear Discord notifications. Yeah, so this is a failure. But we'll keep on trying. Yeah. All right. No, that was not you. I mean, it could have been. We could have both gotten a Slack message at the same time. But not the Slack message. All right, well, what am I doing wrong? Probably like multiple things. Path max distance. No, I don't think that matters. Path height offset. Height offset is subtracted from the y-axis value of any vector path. Navigation agent height offset does not change or influence navigation mesh or pathfinding query results. So no. Avoidance enabled. Height. The height of the avoidance agent. Agents will ignore other agents or obstacles that are above or below their current position plus height in 2D avoidance. It does nothing in 3D avoidance where it uses sphere radius spheres alone. Well, we can't use radius spheres because the obstacles need to be more complex than that. So we can't use 3D avoidance. It needs to be 2D. I guess we can increase the height. Let's set the radius to... Doesn't matter. Set the radius to 1. Set the height to like 5. And then keep Y velocity. Okay, we'll see. So is it like an agent setting, or is it like, you know, the obstacle avoidance setting? I don't know. But what we're hoping here is that they would by now have turned to avoid the area that they are in. And they have not. Why? All right. Well, back to the docs. Navigation agent avoidance. How about a script template? What does this look like? So 3D GD script, character body 3D. So they have a navigation agent 3D. We are using navigation agent 3D, right? Yes. This one in the ready connects velocity computed. We're just doing that via the UI. Set movement target sets the target position to be the movement. Okay, yeah, we've been there before. Do not query the one the map is never synchronized and empty. Don't do that. So on velocity computed does set the velocity and does move and slide. So in this, we do not call move and slide on physics process. I see. Okay. So let's change things around a little bit. Right, so in the enemy, I'm not going to add the condition of like, oh, is avoidance enabled or not. The enemies will have avoidance enabled. So what we're going to do is that we're going to call move and slide here. And physics process, the way they're doing it is, I mean, we can add these conditions. Stop it. I was in the mode. Okay, so then this is some of this logic is the thing we already had. Where we are. So I'm just gonna move some of these things back to here, but instead of setting velocity, where is the interesting? We call navigation agent. That set velocity? Yeah, set velocity. Doesn't seem to think that that's a thing that exists, or does it? Navigation agent set velocity. Yeah, navigation agent 3D. Velocity. It doesn't seem to have a set velocity though. I think we just call, just say velocity equals that. Essentially what we're doing is we're saying, hey, navigation agent, this is the direction we want to go. Which of course is just based on, like, we could change things. We could manually intercede here, but we tell the navigation agent this is the direction we want to go and speed, and then it computes and gives us back a safe velocity, taking into account avoidance. We set our velocity to that, and move and slide. So that seems to match what this describes, I guess. We're on 4.4, right? I don't know what the difference is between 4.4 and stable. So in their example script, if we go back to 3D GD script, character body 3D. Okay, it's still saying set velocity. Our autocomplete didn't like set velocity, but that's fine. Could just be an artifact of other things. Will it avoid the area? So far, not so good. Oh, didn't like it. Okay, this is promising. Why is it not routing around the thing though? Maybe the obstacle is too big. I think there are settings around time horizon obstacles. Minimum amount of time for which the agent velocities that are computed are safe. With the larger the number, the sooner the agent will respond to static, less freedom in choosing his Too high. That's funny. Both things are talking about the value being larger. It doesn't talk about what happens if the value is smaller. What if this is 1? 1 second. Okay. Well, it's sort of like progress. What I would hope would be that they would turn because they face the direction of their velocity, right? And they would go around the obstacle. But it seems like it's actually, are they moving at all, or are they just stuck there now? There is movement. I'm not moving. They are moving. Oh, oh. Okay. It seems like maybe I wonder if we okay, what if we turn up max speed? Do we think that's gonna make a difference? Right, and again, as the idea is that these things when they spawn in are going to want to maneuver around into this magenta target down here. I wish shift also accelerated panning. That could be a thing to do. Okay, changing speed didn't seem to change their willingness to pivot. I wonder if any of these settings changed anything. So we're going to explore this idea of like resetting settings that didn't do anything. So pathfinding algorithm stuff. Do these things affect avoidance? Okay, we only have one algorithm anyway, so it doesn't matter. Avoidance priority. Agent does not adjust the velocity for other agents that wouldn't match avoidance mask, but have a lower avoidance priority. Everything has the same avoidance priority. That's fine. What about when we go to... So we have test avoidance obstacle. That's the thing that's interacting with right now. So this is the one where we're statically defining the this over here. Avoidance enabled, but there's no priority here. So that's only an agent thing. Okay. Back to the game. So I guess eventually they will kind of slide their way over. I kind of wish avoidance would do more. Let's do a little bit of Googling. Or maybe we can just notice some things. So here's the section on avoidance. Maybe the time horizons should be longer. Maybe that would be good. Let's try changing that. That seems promising. Right? Time horizon obstacles, so like 10 seconds and then restart. Do we think that'll have a positive effect? It seems like what it's doing is it's just slowing down more and more. They're turning a little bit. It just seems that that has made them give up sooner. Oh, something's happening. One is passing the other. I don't know. We may have to do more here in terms of avoidance. Right. Well. Okay, so we get the position. We ask for get next path position, and we say current agent position. Okay, is there? So we're calling navigation agent get next path position. Is that what? If we look in the script templates, next path position, get next path position, next velocity is global position, direction to next path position dot time movement speed. This is getting the direction and then movement speed. And if the avoidance is enabled, set the velocity to be that new velocity. Video example. Neat. Okay, so Googling. Godot navigation agent avoidance. So there's a tutorial and there's a discussion in our Godot. And it has limited capabilities to make agents move around larger targets. Yes. Yeah. So I think one thing here is that maybe this test is not very fair to what we're actually going to do in game. Maybe. No, I think it will be, because we will give the player some limited amount of building static defenses. That the enemies will try to route around. So it may not be one solid thing like this of this size, but it'll be a bunch of potentially adjacent things making a wall that the enemy should be able to route around if it can. If it can't find a path, then it needs to start, attacking things. Or honestly, probably like attacking things on the way is probably the AI that we want. So that it's taking swings, or it's like firing projectiles or whatever at player placed objects while it's moving. And if it stops moving, it's still attacking. It's kind of where I see this going. So the behavior of like getting stuck on this thing and like very slowly like sliding along it is not what I want. Because if there's a straightforward path, it should like use its movement speed to turn and go around the obstacle. And this does need to be dynamic, because the player is going to dynamically be adding things into the level. Someone has posted a GitHub repo. Impact is time horizon agents. Oh, okay. So maybe I'm just looking at the wrong thing. So if we get rid of this and we say 10 seconds for time horizon agents, what does that do? That is at least slightly better. I think they're going slower than what they were doing previously. And I suspect if they collide, that may slow things down. Yep. What if we turn off this and we change this? We're gonna take the risk of changing multiple things at the same time. Okay. They just give up. Like, I have nowhere to go. I can't go anywhere. Or maybe keep Y velocity needs to be turned on. Do that? I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't seem better. I guess the other thing I could do is on the enemy itself, I could increase the movement speed to like 20. Reload. Maybe just them being faster would make them faster. There you go. Problem solved. Now, they are slower on the diagonal, and that's not great. But that is sort of what I want. Oh, neat. I really like that kind of like the thing that it did right there. Because it was narrowing in. All right, cool. Well, it's progress. It's gonna be probably quite a while before we add any like real like 3D like actual models that reflect, you know, anything interesting from like an art design perspective, because I think I've settled on the idea that what I want to do is I want to focus on like understanding how pathing stuff works and understand how like I'm gonna do the UI stuff and all of the like mechanics of it, and then we'll break out Blender again. So like probably what I'll do is it'll all just be boxes, and I'll just do different colored boxes for like the towers and walls and things that you place as a player, and we'll just have different colored Suzannes for the enemies with like different sizes and different qualities and stuff. Let me go back to I'll keep those tabs open. We might find something interesting there. I have been thinking though about the kind of on the artistic side of things though, so I found some new resources for like material texture stuff. So when we get to the point where we're doing that, we can definitely like have some nice terrain and stuff for the levels. But that'll be later. So enemy spawning, we want to have waves, different enemy types, sizes, HP, attacks, different timing, yeah, all the things. In fact, let me bring that up. Yeah. So let me add a note here. Need to figure out how to make enemies move around How many times have I spelled obstacles today? Better? Faster. Cool. And then someday in the future, we'll work on Unbounded, which is a game concept that I need to probably just do like more concept art and more things. I think generally the idea is there's going to be a lot of character interaction, but I guess that's probably where I need to, you know, if I'm gonna like outside of the practice projects with Godot, the thing I probably need to figure out is more. I think I have some initial stuff I was sketching out with ChatGPT around like character archetypes. And what I wanted to have is I want to have a lot of interesting characters to interact with. That is going to be, I think, for me, besides the different plot elements and plots from a more literal, like people are plotting things, conspiracy things going on in the background that you're going to interact with eventually in this game that I want to build. Um, Having interesting characters to get to know and interact with, and have meaning, like they are deep characters, but also have meaning to the in the context of the game, like, oh, because you talked to this person, got to know them, you knew something, you were able to have this conversation that enabled you to have this resource that unlocked part of the game, is appealing to me. So anyway, I think it is time for me to go find some lunch. So we are going to pause here for today, and we're going to go find someone to raid.